Hey everyone, I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm in Fuego here.
And this is your horror show news with booze,
baby.
Another fun installment coming at you, and without further ado, let's just get right into it. Fuego, what do we have first?
Well, first we have to mourn the death of the print publication Fangoria. Now, they're saying that the website is supposed to continue, but there's been a lot of very sad bits of information going about, the fact that the former editor-in-chief said there's never going to be another printed issue of this magazine, that the covers to this stuff gave me nightmares. It was like horror porn when I was a kid, man. Damn did I love it. They're saying the digital will continue, but even that, it's been shrinking. I noticed compared to Bloody Disgusting and Daily Dead and the places we consult constantly for these stories, the amount of stuff they're covering is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. What's your thoughts on, the death of print and one of horror great publications, man?
Honestly, it really stinks. It makes me so angry. I just want to rip this thing off my nose because it's just ridiculous. I won't breathe over this. No, honestly, I've always liked Fangoria as well, and it's sad to see it go, but it's not surprising. In fact, it's surprising, quite frankly, that it's lasted as long as it has.
I agree, and I'm assuming this means
because it's always been expensive as hell. $6.99 an issue or something. That's
plus
really
if you wanted
crazy.
like Gore Zone or Starlog, the other ones, I'm assuming that means the death of all of those, which kind of sucks. Well, that kind of sucks. It really sucks, man.
I think the writing was on the wall earlier this year, though, when we were a part of a certain convention that was quote unquote backed by Fangoria, and Fangoria didn't really offer up any cash, and I'm not really surprised now to find out that this is the case.
They swooped in to help FearCon. We love Phoenix FearCon. They did all that they could, and this isn't us, trashing Fangoria or anything.
Not
it's just,
all.
not
at all.
You could tell that
it's just there was the writing on the wall, like I said.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a perfect mention.
It's sad to see it go because, as you said, I have always loved Fangoria. Again, outside of the price, I still loved the publication and would get it on a regular basis, especially if it had information that I didn't know in it. Unfortunately,
now you get
in
information
recent
instantly.
years, I mean, the magazine just didn't cover any. The only thing that was really neat I found in the magazine was like the behind-the-scenes featurettes and articles where a reporter would go and visit the set of a movie while it was in the making of, and they would report on that. That was unique.
Kind of ironic if Kevin Smith ends up being the last one to edit the last printed issue, right?
And I didn't get my hands on it. Can you still get your hands on it? Because
I'm sure
I want
it's still
to.
floating around. I wish I knew.
I need to go to a Barnes and Noble. Yeah, I want that issue. And if it's the last print, I'll bet there was a run on it. If it was the last, we might be too little, too late on this one.
Damn it!
So it's sad. It is sad, but
sad.
I will.
They were the number one name in horror.
It's an emerging story still, so we will continue to report on it as we find out more.
Yes.
But the next story we need to talk about is something to do with those newfangled hashtag thingies. Oh,
hashtag, yes. Shout out Marsha Parker.
No, this is just a hashtag campaign that has started for We Want Leatherface. Which basically it has to do with the fact that the new Leatherface movie, which is an origin story of the titular character, it has been done now for a while, and
sitting
yet
on the shelf.
Has not seen or gotten a release date. Now we have seen, I think, a poster for it at one point.
Yep, and we know Stephen Dorff is in it, and a few others. But it's just crazy how Lionsgate is just sitting on this thing. Although with the recent history of, with what happened with Friday the 13th, and getting totally canned,
Why are they so gun shy? Like news like this only hurts the product in the long run. People are like, oh, this is the one that took forever to come out, even though it was done.
It's probably gonna suck.
You gotta have faith in your movie. You gotta throw it out there and unless it's just real dog crap,
It just might be. Being a presumed direct-to-video VOD, whatever.
Oh, it was?
Well, who knows?
I thought it was supposed to be for the theaters.
Theatrical? I don't know. I'm just speculating at this point. So don't take me to the bank on that one, guys. But I'm thinking it was kind of maybe a similar Ring situation where they're like, do we go theatrical and have the advertising campaign that'll cost us so much more money, and it's not gonna bring in the due returns and stuff? And
can Rings really have killed these things like so terribly?
I don't even know if it's just Rings. I think it's the fact
because that's what they blame Friday the 13th on.
Exactly, but I'm kind of thinking that they see the amount of money they've spent on these big popular properties, and they see what these new properties like Don't Breathe and Split and stuff like that are made for next to nothing and turning such a big profit. They're like, why the hell did we spend so much money on this movie when it's not even that good?
See, and that's
the
the
fact
thing.
that we don't know is the worst.
They need to make that determination before the movie has started. But anyway, getting back to this campaign, because we could go on about this for hours. I actually had another point to make, but we got to move on. It's a hashtag campaign where fans are basically petitioning Lionsgate with this hashtag to release the movie. They don't want to.
Stone, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. But the fans are pushing to get it released. So if you want to jump in on the campaign, it's hashtag We Want Leatherface, and shout them out. Maybe we'll end up getting it as a result. But either way, it was at least worth a mention. Fuego, what's next?
I want Leatherface. But we're going to move on to another popular franchise, and this probably could have been the biggest news headline of the week. The fact that we finally have an attached writer team and director to the new Halloween movie, which originally it was being billed as a remake, and apparently that is not the case. It's going to be a direct sequel to the second film, and ironically enough, people are scratching their heads a little bit about this writing duo, because it's none other than Eastbound and Down, your effing out Kenny Powers, Danny McBride, and his longtime buddy David Gordon Green, who he did Pineapple Express with, he did Your Highness with, which I actually really kind of liked Your Highness. I thought that shizzle was funny, man. But
Pineapple Express was good.
Yeah, solid stuff. But so people are wondering, like, what is this more recently comedic team? They also worked on Eastbound and Down together. What are they going to do with Halloween?
Here's the thing. Have you seen Eastbound and Down?
Oh, I saw the first 2 seasons, loved it, got stuck somewhere in the third, and just didn't so much lose interest, but just didn't finish strong.
But I hear that it can be a very dark series.
Darkly comedic, not that dramatic, though. It's really silly. Maybe in the later seasons it got much, much darker, but in the first 2, it's pretty cheesy.
But also consider that Danny McBride is showing his love for horror, because Your Highness was a comedy horror.
It was.
It was a medieval comedy horror. Yeah, and I was just going to say, he's now in Alien Covenant, so he's starting to try and maybe gain that horror cred. So,
and he's not going to star in it. He's just co-writing it.
No, and he's a very successful writer, you know. So I am down to see what he can come up with. Again, this is one of those series that we've been waiting for more of, and if it means breathing new life into it, then that's all well and good.
And Carpenter gave them his blessing and said they came in with a strong pitch, or else there's no reason we'd be going with them. And he said he still is thinking about scoring it, which I think is pretty BA.
But does that mean that we'll get Jamie Lee Curtis again? Because technically she lived at the end of Halloween
number 2, even though they killed her in the sequel to H202 or whatever the hell they called it.
They killed her in Resurrection. She beheaded him at the end of H2O, but technically she'd still be alive and kicking.
Yeah, so I guess they're wiping all of those sequels from, and including Rob Zombie's terrible remakes, which were entertaining, but as far as like the quality of the first 2 films, nowhere near.
Gotta say, it is interesting that after it will be the first instance that I can recall of a modern cinematic series reverting back to its old continuity, a la DC and Marvel.
Yeah,
like DC and Marvel have rebooted series and then gone back to the original number of times, and this is sort of a similar thing. Yeah, I guess. I mean, they made 2 new ones, and they were planning, I thought, on making a third one, a sequel to Rob Zombie's, even without Rob Zombie. But
I heard that was the original plan before the remake plan.
Like 5 years ago,
This is another series that I feel like they've had a lot of trouble, but they're at least finding their footing better than Friday the 13th and Halloween, and who the hell knows about Freddy, but Chucky's doing good too, so hey, if we get good new Chucky, great new Halloween, maybe it'll pave the way for those other properties to get their shizzle together, man.
Exactly. Now, while this Halloween was going to be a sequel, we need to touch on a reboot coming up, which we've talked about numerous times. There's just a little bit of new news on it, so we may not need to talk long on it, but
we'll be brief, but
Stephen King's It has officially been approved for a rated R. So
I'm so excited, damn it, because I was so worried they were going to take the PG-13 route with this, and it is a very R-rated story. And it's
exciting considering the first round we got that scared the shit out of everyone was a TV movie. It was
which I still thought
more
was pretty
PG
good.
really than anything.
Yeah,
like
there was a
outside of the blood smear on the wall and a slit wrist, like there was not really much else that was scary in it. So
not so much.
It was a clown with teeth. So
it was tension and terror, though.
Here's the thing. Considering this movie is going to be them as kids in the 80s, sure they'll be swearing, but but they're not going to be super dirty, graphically gross Jay and Silent Bob swearing.
No, so we won't be South Park. I mean, you never know with kids that age.
No,
dropping F-bombs and whatnot.
They'll be dropping F-bombs, but it won't be as prevalent as South Park and stuff like that.
Well, anyone who's read Stephen King's...
Because again, it's set in the 80s.
It is, but anyone who's read Stephen King's there is one particular scene with Beverly and all those boys that I honestly hope is not in
There's
this
no
movie.
way.
It's foul.
Willful gang rape is not something you
Spoilers!
I mean, I guess
it is a 30-year-old book at this point, but nonetheless, I still scratch my head. Stephen King, I love you, buddy. Why?
What the hell was that?
Why? Dude?
And why'd you have to make the fat kid?
And it was her idea, too.
The fat kid's the one that blew it, too. I'm like, oh, come on. Anyway,
it's going to be rated R, so we're going to get some good gore, I hope. And I'm just happy because I thought they were going to defang and declaw this property. So praise, all hail to the king, as you can check out on my Sunday show.
There were two big horror writer icons growing up, one being Stephen King and one geared a little bit more towards a younger audience, although he did branch into the teen audience.
He's kind of a hack artist in some ways.
Both come to bear in this next story, Fuego.
Yep, that's right. This is a little update on Mr. R.L. Stine. Now, he was basically the Stephen King for kids. He was a few years older, so you were past the point when Goosebumps was getting popular,
I did not get into Goosebumps. Here's what I got into because R.L. Stine was still considered kiddie. I got into Kristopher Pike.
You see,
Kristopher Pike was like the older, like the teen counterpart.
Oh yeah,
when
Chain Leather and Last Vampire, and I thought Pike was totally rad.
Pike, the one I liked was the scuba one. I can't remember which one that was.
I'm not sure I saw that, but so this is a two-part story, and so. First, Goosebumps 2, which was originally supposed to be coming out later this year, it has been shelved and pushed ahead about a year and a half, I think. So now it's coming out on the 21st of September in 2018.
Which hopefully that means they're actually going to put some effort behind it.
Yeah, because compared to the original Fox Kids series, it paled in quality, in my opinion.
Such garbage.
Yeah,
it was just a CG mess.
It was so mediocre. I mean, it was just the epitome of blah.
And
then it's funny because when the Kristopher Pikes were hitting big, R.L. Stine was like, I need to hit the YA crowd. So he started doing a series called Fear Street, which, since I was reading Kristopher Pike and getting into Stephen King and stuff, I'd never even checked out Fear Street. But apparently it was popular enough where now it warrants its own film. And so there is a writer now attached because it's in pre-production, a guy named Kyle Killen. I guess he's done some TV work on shows like Lone Star, Awake, a show called Mind Games, but then he also scripted a film that I thought was really awesome that was directed by Jodie Foster named The Beaver that had Mel Gibson as this guy who's basically lost his mind. It had Anton Yelchin. It was a very good movie, actually. He also scripted the new Sinbad movie that's coming out soon. So,
side note, despite obvious, ridiculous, and unbelievably anti-Semitic and ridiculous statements, the last few Gibson movies haven't been too bad. The Beaver was good. I liked Get the Gringo a lot. His I hear
he was
one.
The best thing about The Expendables 3.
No, I hear the war movie that just came out that he put out
Hacksaw
Ridge was excellent too.
Yeah, he's a hell of a director.
Braveheart's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, even Passion of the Christ is, regardless of your religious affiliations or lack thereof, it's a crazily well-made movie, man. It's brutal, it's gross, it's incredibly directed, it's borderline horror, if you ask me.
Sidetrack.
Yes.
The other sidetrack I want to return to is I think the movie or the book I read from Kristopher Pike that involved scuba was Bury Me Deep.
Okay.
I think that was the name.
I did not read that one. Yeah, Chain Leather. I just always remember because car
crash. That got made into a horror movie. Very mediocre one that came out just a couple of years back, I believe, or maybe it's in the 2000s. I just remember the fact that there was
sex in those Kristopher Pike books when I was in junior high, early high school, and I was just like, ooh, this is like Goosebumps, but way better. So hey, R.L. Stine is kind of in vogue again, and he's also doing an upcoming Marvel comic series. So hey, good for you, buddy. We'll at least end up covering it in some degree, I would imagine, even if it's not very good. So
probably so. Now the next story is all about a anthology TV series, which we have yet to partake of. I do have the first season. The second season is coming in October, if I'm not mistaken.
And it's called No End House.
No End House. So of course we're talking about the creepypasta turned popular anthology TV series Channel Zero.
Yeah.
The first one was called what?
Candle Cove.
Crystal
Cove or Candle Cove.
I thought it was. No,
Anyway,
I'm
you
thinking
guys can-
Cabot Cove, which was where Murder, She Wrote took place.
Angela
it is Candle
Lansbury.
Cove. You're right. I think it is Candle Cove. So
Yeah, but that
we
guy with all
have
the teeth on him, right?
Right, it was 6
Yeah.
episodes. I have all 6. I've been planning to try and do.
We're gonna do a review at some
We're gonna
point,
do a
guys. Stay
sleepover,
tuned.
Fuego and I.
Yeah, we are.
We're gonna do a Channel Zero Candle Cove sleepover.
Yes.
Because here's the thing.
Candle Cove cuddle session.
Outside of Slender Man, I have not experienced any creepypastas. So
neither.
I
Yeah.
am interested to give it a try because I heard it was so good. And apparently, getting back to the actual story,
Good enough for a renewal.
it is so good that they not only have approved a second season, which is coming, as I said, in October, but they also just renewed it for a 3rd and 4th season. So
Yep.
apparently, they're setting this up to be 2 6-episode seasons every single year
Which I
if
think
they
is cool.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's more in line with what the BBC does, except the BBC does 6 hour-and-a-half long episodes or hour-long episodes, and then takes a year-and-a-half long break and gets back to it.
The Black Mirror,
Yeah.
we're looking at you.
or Doctor Who will do 8 episodes and then take a year-and-a-half off. So
Yeah, they're all about these limited event series, kind of like what Fox is doing now with they did it with 24, they did it with
yeah, but
X-Files.
I like it.
and-
I like it because you can get a more condensed, focused story,
Yeah.
and so anyway. Channel Zero is coming for 3 more seasons because the second
Guaranteed.
hasn't even aired.
3 more, guys.
So if you liked Candle Cove, then
berate us in the comments for why we haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. No, if you liked it, get excited. If you haven't watched it, maybe seek it out because we're going to get 3 more seasons of this Channel Zero series. So I'm guessing it's worthwhile.
Yeah, I hope so, and I look forward to us finally getting the chance. We're just so steeped in so many things, guys. There's so
It's
much to watch,
crazy.
whether it's TV, movies. My God, it's overwhelming. But what is overwhelmingly awesome
Oh,
is
he
this
loves
next
this.
story, because Castlevania is one of my favorite video game series. I wasn't so big with N64 when they went into the 3D realm, but as far as hack and slash side scrollers, you cannot get any better than the Belmont clans, just fights against Dracula and all of his minions. And the BA thing here is that we talked maybe a couple months ago.
BA equals badass.
Exactly. All kinds of badass, y'all. We talked about this a few months ago, that there was rumors that there was going to be a Castlevania animated series. I think we reported about it on the news, before we even joined Kings of Horror, and then before we came back here, and all came full circle because Ka's a wheel.
Oh.
But but it was officially announced that this animated and, as described, very violent Castlevania animated series is going to none other than Netflix, because everything rad is on Netflix right now, it seems like, right?
Yeah, it does seem like that. But that's fine with me because everything rad is on Netflix right now.
Yeah, bring it
That is
on.
to say, most things on Netflix are rad.
Yeah, there's some things that are just okay, I suppose.
Yeah, there's
but
some. Yeah, but honestly, for the most part, they knock it out of the park, especially when it's a series.
they don't endorse craptastic stuff. Really.
No, well, they haven't wanted to attach themselves to series that are subpar. The only thing I think is I thought Crazy Head was a little bit weak. But
That's
everything
what I need
else,
to
I
finish.
thought Santa Clarita was excellent.
Yeah, excellent.
Excellent. Obviously, all of the Marvel Netflix series are great. Kimmy Schmidt is amazing.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
just barely touching the surface. I mean, there's a ton of a drama series that I haven't even watched. Narcos, I hear, is excellent.
And they keep
excellent.
excellent, yeah, and they keep cranking out more films. They're a full-on film distribution company pretty much at this point.
Well,
They're
absolutely,
going to
because
Toronto
they're not.
and
Yeah,
Sundance and acquiring.
they're
movies
acquiring.
For
They're not
themselves.
producing them all now. That's
Yeah.
what's interesting.
'cause they
They've
used to be
become
their own
they've become a
production
full-on. Well, they've become a full-on distribution house now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they don't have to produce everything. They're
Moving
just
on
acquiring the talent. It's crazy. Mark my words. Within probably 2 years, it will be like Universal, Paramount, Netflix. Netflix will be one of the big studios.
Oh, yeah.
And they could probably be considered one of them already because
Yeah, if they're
they have
scooping
their
stuff away-
hands in the streaming pot, whereas
Yeah.
Warner Brothers doesn't have their streaming channel.
Yeah.
None of the other ones do.
And Amazon and Hulu are trying their damnedest to compete, but they're just nowhere even close. And that's not to say they're not putting out quality content themselves, but it feels like they're light years behind because Netflix originated the process pretty much. And
Well, and that is to say, Netflix, if you're looking for a independent horror variety program that
Yes.
you would like to
we're putting
have
together
produced
a
on
pilot.
site, please reach out to us. Shame.
Hands.
Shameless. Because, honestly, We've been wanting to do a half-hour version of this program where it's an old-school variety show.
Yeah.
You know,
you get a sketch, you get some news, you get a review, you get a monologue, all kinds of coolness.
Yeah,
you guys would probably like it.
It would be.
I think you
cool.
would.
Yeah. Let us know if you'd be interested in seeing what a 22-minute pilot of half-hour version of this would be, because we are kicking it into gear this year, you guys. So we're going to be doing that.
Imagine a scarific Saturday Night Live, perhaps.
Who the hell knows?
Cool. Yeah, it might be dope, right?
Now, moving on to our final story, which is probably going to be a very quick one as well, because frankly, I have not seen the original, but we just found out that the new Suspiria movie is not going to be a remake, but rather a sequel.
Praise the Lord, because praise the Lord.
This
what Lords will be praised? This is Dario Argento, late 70s. Even Argento himself said when he heard that there was going to be a remake, he denounced it and talked all this smack and was like, it's a terrible idea. Well, it turns out they heeded his advice, because this is not a remake. It's actually a pseudo-sequel of sorts, and everybody was like, oh, Jennifer Harper, or Jessica Harper, I should say. She was the lead from the original. Still a babe. She was returning. People thought she was going to just be, I don't know, playing a similar role or something, or maybe just a teacher or whatever, but I'm assuming she's playing the same role. And then there's a great cast for this film. Tilda Swinton, Chloe Moritz-Grace, that chick...
Why do you do it? Why do you do it every time?
Chloe Grace Moretz.
There you go.
Ah! Yeah, but then you've also got that...
Who just turned 20, by the way?
Uh-oh, yeah, there you go, possible suitors. You want
She's almost drinking age. Oh, God, that's so terrible.
Let Carrie in.
Listen, here's the thing. My dad was 10 years older than my mom, so...
Yeah, but...
I am not as creepy as you
Give
guys
it time.
might think.
Give it time. No, but this is
Plus,
good
I
news.
look so youthful.
Indeed you do. Aging gracefully, as men often do, like fine wine.
We become distinguished. We don't get old.
That's exactly right. This is true. But people are probably going to be not as harsh on this film at this point, because I think it's a pretty general consensus that most people, they would always prefer a sequel as opposed to a remake, in many ways. And I'm actually, with the killer cast behind it and the fact that it's going to be just kind of a continuation of the whole Witch Coven ballet thing generations later, I'll be honest, I didn't love the original Suspiria, and a lot of you are probably going to hate me for saying that, but I didn't despise it. It was just slow
I didn't even see it, so what do you think I'm going to get for it?
Slow build, slow brewed, a little bit of violence here.
Here's what I've gotten out of the talk of it. It's supposed to be creepy, probably gory, and trippy. That's all I've gotten out of what I've heard about it.
I mean, arresting music. I think Goblin did the music for that one, just like they did for lots of those Argento and his protege's films and stuff like that. So, I mean, trippy, synthy type score and kind of surreal and strange. And so, hey, with all these talented ladies, I think Dakota Johnson is in it. She's from 50 Shades of whatever the hell, I don't know. But yes, no bueno. That's scary that film is even mentioned on this program, guys. I'm so sorry. You can blame this for that. So, hey, rest easy. It is not
Fuego, what did you think of 50 Shades Darker? I'm sure you saw it last week.
No, I actually didn't. I was dragged to the first one by a lovely lady, and boy, was that a mistake. Although I hear this new one is even scarier and more horrible, on par with Battlefield Earth and whatever else you want to say is one of the worst movies ever, The Room.
That's all we need to talk about.
I've heard it's about as bad as that. So we're going to end on that note, guys. That's scary. Look forward to that Suspiria remake coming sometime in 2017. No set release date yet, but I guess...
Side note, just as a little bit of Infogotainment crossover, which will allow him to talk about his other channel, if you guys haven't seen it, go see John Wick 2. That was a very good movie. It wasn't as good as the first, but it was still awesome. A lot of really cool action. If you've ever wanted to see a man pin another man to the ground with an empty shotgun while he reloads it and fires it through the man's chest, this is the movie for you.
Wow, see, now I have to watch the original John Wick so I can review the second one.
It's pretty cool. So, Fuego, what did I just refer to?
He's referring to Infogotainment, which is, but it's weird because my channel is going through transitions, much like the horror show has. I was originally doing lots of trailer reactions, and I was doing lots of film reviews and stuff like that. The horror show has grown and therefore taken up a lot more time, but probably in the next few weeks it's going to see a major relaunch because I'm wanting to do something called the Nightly Nerd and the Geek End Rewind, which is basically going to be covering everything except for horror news.
You know, now that you've mentioned it, you actually have to do it.
I do. I'm putting myself out there. And it's probably just going to be a quick little 10-15 minutes of the cool, geek-tastic, non-horrific happenings of the day. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for also a Lego Batman review from me and this gentleman that will be coming very soon as well.
Absolutely. So thank you guys very much for joining us here on the Horror Show News with Booze.
Scary informative.
We'll be back
it.
here every Friday delivering our opinions on this week's top horror news stories.
Even if they make you loosen your tie when you laugh at our silliness.
So let us know in the comments below if you have any opinions on this week's stories. Thank you very much for joining us as you do every week. The news has been growing. We appreciate it. Guys, we're making a push to try and get to 10,000 subscribers so that way we can get access to the mobile live streaming service. We're going to be able to start live streaming
some stuff for you guys. Make our content better for you.
Not only that, but Fuego and I have been discussing doing what we call Horror News Bites. And that means that we'll be able to do some quicker reactions to news stories like the Halloween story or the Fangoria story, and we can live stream them from our phones wherever we're at. So if you want to help us get to 10,000 subscribers, that's where we unlock that feature on YouTube. We have to have 10,000 subscribers to get there.
Yep, we open Pandora's box and then you can't get rid of us.
Exactly. So please share the video, share the channel, tell your friends, tell anyone that might like horror about the channel. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, I've been Jaime and Fuego.
And until next Friday, remember,
stay scared.
That is to say that we have more episodes coming 2 every day, but next Friday we'll be back with the news.
Salud!